Hello, hello, hello. If you can hear me, let me know by giving me a thumbs up so I know that you can hear me. Oh my goodness, what a day, what a day, what a day. I've got a topic today I really want to talk about. I don't know if any of you have seen my video from today, but that I just posted up about 2 o'clock. But I really want to talk about that. But we'll get to it later. Let me greet some folks and say hello. Hey Tina, hello, number one in the house today. Standing by here in hot Southwest Georgia. Oh my goodness. Ooh, I was in hot Palm Desert and the Palm Springs area, and it got up to I think 111 while we were there. Yeah, it was hot, hot, hot. But we have a system, so we enjoyed it. Hey Iris from Three Generations. Hello, hello. Hey Randy, I have missed you. Where have you been, guy? Oh my goodness, I'm so glad to see you in the house today. Oh, everyone's saying hello to Randy. Hi, plain vanilla grandma. Hello. You're number 4. You are. You're right up there. You are indeed. Oh my goodness. Hey Barry, I got your message and I'm going to give you a call, but I did get your text, so I just want to let you know. Hello, hello, Royal Globies. Oh my goodness, famous chat. I don't know about that. But thank you. Yes, everyone hit that like button because it does help. Hey, Martin, hello, how are you? My great, one of my moderators. And here comes one of my other fabulous moderators. Nora's in the house, Arcuda 2001. Hey, my sister in love. Oh my gosh. I still haven't sent you those pictures. We were at Legoland. I tell you, we had a time. We walked and walked and walked. How many miles did we walk, Amy? We must have walked at least 6 miles, I'm guessing. But we walked and we rode roller coasters. That's right. We rode roller coasters. So we had fun. We had a great time at Legoland of all places for us senior folks. Hey, Vaughn's in the house. Hello, hello. Who else is here? Hey, Pamela. Yes, the day is treating us kindly so far. I'm in a rental. I got to bring it back, but that's a whole nother story. Hey, 63 clocks. Hello. Yes, you guys came back Wednesday, but we're just coming back today. Excuse me. Who else is it was a bit of shenanigans, but it was a lot of fun. Both Don, my brother, and my brother Michael, and then Jess's brother came, who was adopted by my brother Michael, and then they brought Donald's son and my sister-in-law Amy. So we really had a good time, and while I was there, of course, I was doing interviews, and I did several interviews and did a tour of a tiny house village there, our community that I'm really, really liking. I really like that community. So I will be showing you a tour of that. And I interviewed someone who has a tiny house there, a guy named Brad, who was so cool. And I interviewed someone else who has a really horrific story to tell. And I'm going to share that with you about what happened to him and his dad. But lots of good stuff coming up next week, and I'm going to make an announcement as far as my scheduling for videos. I'm finally going to do a real schedule after all these years, but I'm going to do a real schedule, and I'll let you know about that later in this live. Remind me to tell you if I forget to tell you. And let me tell you where we were staying. Amy says, Nora, there was a bunch of shenanigans going on. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. A bunch of fun shenanigans. Pamela says, I type slow, so forgive me if I don't respond quickly. Oh, that's okay, Pamela. No problem. Where is she? I'm back in San Diego. I've got back in San Diego just about, actually, San Diego County about 10 minutes ago. I'm just pulling in. I was like, am I going to make it on time? I had to pick up the dog by 3, had to get, anyhow, lots going on this morning. Nora says, where is who? Carol? Yeah, I'm back in San Diego, and the rest of the crew is back in Northern California and in North Carolina. So we tried to converge. I'm going to be out there doing interviews. So they came out there and we got together and did Legoland. So we had a lot of fun. Hey, Liddell, one of my members. Hello, hello. How are you? Who else is in the house? Have I said hello to every? I don't have Wi-Fi issues on this end. So I'm thinking, Amy, that must be you. Let's see. Hey, did I miss Miss Net is in the house? Hey, Miss Net, hello, one of my other fabulous moderators. Hello, how did I miss you? Anyhow, Miss Net is here in the house. Hello. Hey, Patty, how are you doing? We don't have any rain in Southern California, but it was raining in Palm Springs when we left. And it was thundering and lightning. Yeah, but it was still really hot and really humid, which was it was atypical because it hadn't been humid there the whole time we were there. It was hot, but like Donald said, it was manageable hot until it got to 111. That was kind of up there. But at 105, 100, even in 7, you could walk out and it was a whole different thing from being somewhere where it's hot and humid. Hey, Lisa from Outdoor Dash Travels is in the house. Hello. Oh my goodness. My World and Life. Hello. Are you new here? I don't remember seeing you before. So welcome to the crew. Hey, Janice. Could you not do that, please? While it's rocking the.
All right. Okay, got it.
Thank you. Hey, Janice. Yes, everyone's in the house. 63 Clock says, I haven't had a chance to watch the latest video, but I will soon. Well, we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff from that video. Yeah, it was very hot, Amy. It was hot. But, we have a system. We used to go to Palm Springs several times during the summer, but we kind of got away from that after COVID. But we get up early in the morning. We go out to the pool. And literally, when we were at the pool, some mornings we were the only ones there for at least a couple of hours. And then the slide will open. The kids and me and Don and Michael, we all went down the slide. And we'll do the slide. And then after that, starts to get pretty toasty around 11 or so. We'll come back inside, shower, kind of have some lunch, piddle around, play Uno, other games, TV. Some of us will take a nap, and then we might go out and do a little thrifting because they have such fabulous thrift stores in Palm Springs. Oh, you could furnish a house beautifully, really cheap with some of the amazing stuff that they have there in some of the thrift stores there. And then we come back and relax for a while, have dinner, and then, get the dishes done and everything. And then about 7:30, 8 o'clock, we go back out to the pool and hang out there till 10 o'clock. Or they also have like this shuffleboard. Oh, I did a video and I showed you, and I did a tour of the place. And for those of you who are on the live, I'm going to let you know before anyone else knows, we were at the Westin in Palm Desert. It's a beautiful property. And their staff, we've been going there on and off for 20 years or something, almost, maybe 15. There are staff working there that have been there for that whole time and greet us when we come in. And it's just one of the reasons I like going to that property. I fell down and broke my legs. I think I may have told you guys about it. Broke my legs or my ankles, broke both my ankles. And I called them to tell them, just so I can get a ground floor unit nearer to the pool. They were so accommodating. They met me at the gate, had my key ready for me, had someone, I think I may have shared this with you guys, drive over, told me anything I needed, just call them. They would take me anywhere on the property I needed to go. They'd give me rides. So they just really, don't you think, Amy, that they were very accommodating? The staff is just, they're among the best staff I've ever encountered at that location. Hey, my motivation. Thank you. I'm glad you're here for the chats. If not now, when? I know. Hey, that's one of the things I'm talking about today is if now, not now, when, because we're being lied to, I think, are inferred, are scammed in a way, but I'll get more into that as we go. Hey, Bathsheba Butts, hello. You are you new here? I don't recognize that name either, but welcome to all my newbies today. Glad to have you here. Uh, Everyone's saying hello to hello. Um, Hey, Delamay Rose Carpenter, hello again from Auckland, New Zealand. Oh my goodness, best video chat ever. Thank you. And it's only because you guys are here and you are liven up the chat. Fawn said, Nora, I lost my crown. Ooh, I'm just gonna get one from Burger King. Oh my goodness, Vaughn. I tell you, Vaughn, another moderator here, and Outdoor Dash Travel. Lisa, another moderator in the house. Oh my goodness. Hey, Lava Lindy's here. Hello. Just to remind you all, we have postponed our nomadic our Nomad boot camp because things are changing very rapidly. And with executive orders and new things coming up and a lot of changes in cities, we just really want to see how things are going to shake out because we want to, especially new people hitting the road, we don't want to give you bad information or make suggestions to you that'll cause problems for you. So we're kind of waiting to see how things are going to shake out. We will do a meetup of some sort in Quartzsite in January, and we'll let you know. And maybe, Lindy's going to be there longer. She might do one before that. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to wait and see how things shake up. So when we give you information and suggestions, it's going to be current, it's going to be accurate, and it's not going to backfire on you. So just another reminder of that. Hey, one of the holies says, Legoland was the best. I'm not even sure, but we walked a lot. Yes, my first roller coaster. Yes, Amy doesn't ride rides. She's not a roller coaster person, but she went on that roller coaster. And that first dip when you go up and woo! Oh, yeah. She enjoyed it though. It was fun. We really did. I went on the smaller roller coaster, although I've been on that one. I just decided that day to do the smaller one. Hello, Pamela. Hello, my sweet YouTube friend. Thank you. Um, uh, Nora's laughing at Vaughn. Life will go on, crown or no. Oh my goodness. Hey, stay tuned. Better late than never. Well, you're not that late, tell you the truth. Hey, Graham. Good day from Wheel of Barack. I'm not even going to try. Just from Australia. Hello. Hey, Nancy 3 times. Hi, how are you? Wanda's in the house. Hello, Wanda. And let's see, who else is here? Sandra Johnson is saying hi to everyone. Jackie's in the house. Hope things are going well on the job front, Jackie. And everyone else, well, I am going to get to it and start talking about the topic of the day in a minute. Violets and roses, hello. What? Graham says, my bride is out of hospital with her new knee. Still in a lot of pain, but improving every day. Good day to all fellow Globies. Well, give your bride our best regards, Graham, and tell her we're thinking of her, praying for her, that her speedy recovery. And so while the cat is kind of laid up for a while, is the mouse running around like crazy, Graham? Just remember, she will be up and in full swing soon. So you better behave yourself because we will definitely tell on you. Absolutely. I'll save all your off-color jokes and send them to her, so you better behave, Graham. Anyhow, yes, Vons, we're praying for them. Absolutely. Hey, Andrea Smith. Hello, hello. Thank you, Miss Net. Everyone is sending prayers and good thoughts for the bride. Let her know, Graham. Let her know she has a whole Globy tribe over here that is looking out for her. My World in Life says, I'm new, sort of. Okay, well, we'll take that. Hey, you're welcome, whatever your status is, My World in Life. Let's see. Three Generations saying she missed you last week and she prays for your bride's fast recovery. Oh my goodness. Stay tuned says, oh, a new knee. The physical therapy is super important. Okay. It can be difficult but needed. Thanks for that tip. Stay tuned. Pamela says, Jackie, yep, it poured rain in Orlando, but the cooler temperature made it worthwhile. Oh, yeah, I bet it did cool things down. Yeah, Vaughn's missed you too last week. Oh, my goodness. That's right. Do not feel pressured to double up. Thank you, Vaughn's, for saying that. Thank you. Okay. Nora says, Vaughn, I'm going to blame you if Graham starts the jokes. It's all on you now. Uh-oh. Yeah, it was a beautiful property, wasn't it, Amy? It really was. And there are always someone out there cutting the lawn, pruning, doing something, always someone out there working. Yeah, just as I would go out to film a video, someone would roll by on a power mower. I was like, oh my goodness. Every single time, without fail. Amy says they were very accommodating and very friendly. They made us feel welcome. They did. They really did make us feel welcome. Every single staff person you encountered was very friendly and had a kind word to say. So it's fuzzy. I'm not fuzzy here. Is anyone else fuzzy besides Janice? Three Generations says fuzzy. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if I can make it a little better. Clean my camera here. Is that better? Is that any better? Any clearer? Let me know if it's any clearer. Oh, let me know if it's fuzzy. It's fuzzy to you. Okay, so it's not just you guys, it's my camera. So are we clear now? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if it is clearer now when I cleaned the camera a little bit. And if not, do I have a paper? Do I have a tissue paper back there or anything? No? Okay. Well, I think I got it clear. Let me know if it's
I do have a napkin though.
Oh gosh. Guys, let me know right away if it's fuzzy at the beginning, because for me it's clear, but I'm not going through the same camera that you guys, or it's not projecting. I'm just getting it straight out and I'm not getting fuzzy. So let me know if it cleared up or not. Everyone is saying, hold on. I'm going to cover it up for a minute again. Hold on. Okay, so hopefully that straightens it out and clears it up. Oh, Barefoot Pony. Did I miss Barefoot Pony? Oh my goodness. Oh, hi, Barefoot Pony from Oregon. Hello. How's it going there? Thank you, Amy. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. One of the only says I dropped to number 3. Hey, Lisa S, long time watcher, first time live. Well, welcome in the house. First time, glad you're here. You're gonna have to come back. Don't be a stranger over here. Come on back every time. Hit the like button and got confused. Uh-oh, I don't know what to tell you. One of the holies says, I screamed and laughed the whole way through. She was screaming, and you should have seen the picture she got of Donald's son. It was like of Levi. He was like, he looked like he had seen a ghost. It was so cute and so funny because he wasn't going to go on the roller coaster, And then when Amy said, if I go, will you go? He said, yes, I'll go if you go. So she went and he went. And guess what? Before it was over, he wanted to go again. So they went around later on before we left. They went around both roller coasters again. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Happy Saturday to you, Plain Vanilla Grandma, too. Hey, Kathy Hodge. Hello, hello. Well, we're going to get started talking about the topic. Hey, Linda, best wishes to everyone for health and happiness. Well, I did a video today. Go over and check it out. But I talked about, there is a book decades ago now, several years ago. It's called Who Moved the Cheese? And it kind of, as I recall, it's talking about, maybe a mouse who was looking for cheese. And every time he went to get it, it was moved and moved and moved. Well, that's what's happening with seniors. Our cheese has been moved. It used to be, and I was talking about, when my parents bought their home, I think it was $15,000 or maybe $14,000. And you could make a small amount of money and still buy a home. You could make, literally under $1,000 a month and still qualify to buy a home. Gas was 29 cents a gallon back then. I remember. I'm aging myself, but it was 29 cents a gallon. Groceries. I mean, I can't ever remember going to the grocery store and spending $100. That was just unheard of. $50 would fill up your basket for $50. You had bags and bags of food, of groceries for $50. And then, I just can't remember things. We could go swimming, for a few pennies. We'd collect a few Coke bottles, turn them in, and we'd have enough to go to the swimming pool. Thrifty ice cream was like, I think, a dime. I mean, things were just now. Oh, also, I talked about in my video how back in the 50s, 1950 in particular, I think my research showed only about 23% of working moms, working women who were married, worked, because you could make it on one salary. Even if it wasn't a big salary, you could still make it. Now, 73% of married mothers work outside of, I mean, we all know they work inside the home, but they work outside of the home because you cannot make it on one salary. And now, it used to be you go to a job, you would stay maybe, 20 years, at the end, 30 years, you'd get your little gold watch or whatever they gave you. You'd get your pension and you'd live on that pension comfortably. You wouldn't be rich, but comfortably. You had been able to save a little bit. Even if you saved a little bit, that little bit helped, but you could live comfortably because by the time you retired, your $15,000 house was paid off. My parents stayed in that house until the day they passed. Each of them passed. So they stayed in that house that was paid off. Taxes, were reasonable. Insurance was reasonable. So on my dad's military retirement, plus he got another job after he retired from the military, and that retirement, plus Social Security, they lived comfortably. They weren't rich, but they were comfortable, and they didn't have any credit card debt because neither one of my parents believed in getting credit card debt. They would save up if they needed a new refrigerator. They had saved up and they had the money in the bank and they went down and they paid cash for it. But anymore, a lot of seniors are still living with that mindset and mentality, and we're encouraged to live with that mentality. Just go to work for this company and work hard, and and when you get to a certain age, you'll be able to enjoy your golden years. That's not the reality for many, if not most, seniors these days, especially if you're single. And with the divorce rate as it is, it's really difficult if you want to know what one of the actually biggest predictors of poverty for a woman, it's divorce. Especially a divorced mom is often going to be thrust into poverty and never escape that impoverished life that they're thrust into. So the rules have changed, but a lot of people are still operating under the old rules. They save up a certain amount of money and think, and people are living longer. We're living until 80s, 90s, with advanced medical, advanced technology, dialysis, and all these different things that have improved. People are living longer. So the small savings that they've managed when they have are in many cases not going to last. And they're not going to last not only because they're living longer, but they're not going to last because they have to use more of the savings to pay for the increased cost of medication and rent and taxes and insurance, and it goes on, and groceries. I mean, the daily cost to just live has just gone ballistic. So I wanted to talk about that and what are some things in the video. I talked a bit about some things I think that people have to adjust their mindset. You cannot I don't believe you can make it on just one stream of income anymore. When you have one stream of income, if something happens to that one stream, you're messed up. You have to, I believe, have multiple streams of income. Those multiple streams don't have to be huge, gigantic streams, but they have to be enough to tide you over should something happen to your mainstream. And let's face it, Social Security is no longer a guarantee. I mean, we have it now, and we may have it for many years, but it's not guaranteed. And I believe in this time that we're living, Social Security being tampered with is at a much higher risk than it's ever been, at least in my lifetime. So I wanted to just chat about that, see what some of you think about that. Um, Brenda just got through watching that last video. Um, so yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think? Do you think that the cheese has been moved and we're like mice running after the cheese, but like the cheese keeps moving as we're dodging and darting, trying to catch up with it? They keep upping the ante. And the difference, the gap between earnings and cost of living right now is greater than it has been since the Great Depression in 1929. It used to be cost of living went up very slowly, and even though income might go up slowly, cost of living was also going up slowly, so the distance between them stayed relatively small. Now the gap between cost of living and earnings is huge. And that's see, if the cost of living went up so great and income or earnings went up commiserate with that, it wouldn't be such a problem. But that's not what's happening, and that is the crux of the problem. But uh more like looking through Vaseline. All right, so what's happening now? Is it still fuzzy, guys? Oh, probably the connection. Oh, I'm sorry. Nancy 3X says reboot. How would I reboot? How do I reboot? Do you know how to reboot?
Yes.
What do I do?
You go to the Apple and you press restart.
Go to where and say restart?
The Apple in the left-hand corner on the top.
I don't see an apple up here. Jessica says I go up here and hit restart.
Yes, right.
Don't do anything, just show me.
That apple right there, Ma.
Hit restart?
Yes. Well,
okay.
Unless you mean there's a different way to restart. I'm not really sure. I don't know.
Okay, does Lisa, if you're still in here, Lisa, can you tell me how to reboot? Do I need to reboot? What do I need to do to make it, I know. Nora, I know if I try doing anything, I'm going to disconnect it. You guys know what happens. You know what happens when I touch anything. No, Graham, it's not you and the whiskey. Apparently, everyone's saying that it's fuzzy. So, so how do I reboot it? No. So Lisa says she watched it, the video, and no Social Security, and they keep moving the retirement age from 62 to 67. Yeah, they keep moving the cheese. They keep moving the cheese. Absolutely. Can you hand me my drink, please, Jessica? Thank you. My my throat is getting no. This my throat is getting. Do you see my Gigi? That's my goddaughter and her kids gave me well, I'm back, but I'm on my phone. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's happening with my computer. Last week I had a problem with it too. If you guys can see me, give me a thumbs up. If you can see me on the phone, give me a thumbs up. Uh, Marta says I'm 73 and will work 73 and will be working part-time, yeah, until she leaves this earth. Wow, wow. Marta, you're not alone. A lot of people are in that situation. Um, uh, oh, did you try texting me? I didn't see that. Yeah, so much for rebooting. I'm not rebooting anymore. I rebooted myself right off this live. Oh my goodness. Bye, Linda Wilson. Oh my goodness. Uh yep, I'm back. Uh no, Nora, that was not part of the entertainment, I assure you. Yeah, I tried rebooting. Oh my gosh. Whew, okay, you guys can see me. Picture cleared up when you froze. You disappeared. I knew I shouldn't have touched anything either. I tell you guys, anytime I touch anything, uh oh, baby, come back. Any kind of fool you can see. I was Graham. Graham, you're cracking me up. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. All right, but so back to the conversation. Do you guys feel that that um uh we are being misled, because I mean, think about it. We're making all of these companies rich. Look how Amazon's workers, look how rich Amazon owner or, you know, Bezos is getting. Look how rich all these other billionaires are getting from we have been turned into worker bees. Worker bees making, you know, the the king bee or queen bee rich. And I'd say it's time that we started doing something on our own. you know? Amy says it really is all of us. We're all in the same boat. But the problem is if we don't do something early enough, you can't wait. Well, I mean, you could wait to your 70s if you had a major stroke of good luck. But I mean, generally speaking, you've got to start earlier. You've got to start earlier. Um, Linda says, Graham always has a joke octopus red waving. Donald says, fuzzy again, but we can see you. Oh my goodness. I don't know what is happening. I'm not touching anything. We'll just have to be fuzzy because I'm not touching anything because I'll kick myself off. We're going to make a rule that you are not allowed to touch anything. Amy, hey, that is my rule already, okay? But we're not really going to get into politics, Linda, but we have had a number of administrations that have not addressed homelessness properly. They've also not addressed, let me turn this off. They've also not addressed the lack of affordable housing. I mean, there's been plenty of opportunities. I mean, just think about it. Look at all the vacant government buildings, shopping malls, schools that have been shut down because in many areas there are not as many kids being born, so they're shutting down elementary schools. Why can't some of these buildings be converted into affordable housing? It makes no sense. There's just not the will of people in power to do that. Nancy 3X said, I don't care how many billions of dollars they make, they should just pay their fair share in taxes. Well, if people who made over $175,000, I think it is, where they stopped paying into Social Security, if they just had to pay their fair share, Social Security, from what I've heard, would be fixed. We would be out of the mess that we're in. That's one of the things that needs to be changed. But people who are making quadrillions of dollars don't want that changed, of course. Sharon Gregory says, I'm 71 and still having to work literally paycheck to paycheck. Ramen is becoming normal. Sharon, you are not alone. There are so many people who are in the same situation that you are in and are having to work. Like I said in the video, I watched a YouTuber who does Uber, and she was talking about meeting another YouTuber. I'm sorry, not another YouTuber, another Uber driver, and they were kind of comparing notes and talking. That person that she was talking to, that woman is in her 80s and she does Uber every single day. The person who's the YouTuber, I think, only does a few hours a day and maybe not every day. This woman does it full time every day in her 80s. And she said she didn't have a choice. She had to do it if she wanted to be able to survive or have anything other than basically rent and food. I mean, Amy, one of the holies, says they're getting richer while we're getting poor. That is so true. From my perspective, it's true that the rich are getting richer and the poor are expanding. What I mean is, you used to have maybe, I'm just throwing these numbers out. I don't know if they're not accurate. I'm just throwing them out. Used to be maybe 1% of the population would be really poor, then 3%, then 5%, then 10%, 12%. Those who are poor are getting poorer, and that number is expanding, while those who are at the very top are getting much richer. Something's wrong with that picture. I mean, how much is enough? How much do you have to have after you have $1 billion? How much more do you need? How much better can you eat if you have 2 billion versus 1 billion? What nicer home can you live in if you have 2 billion versus 1 billion? What kind of car would you drive if you have two? I mean, how is that really going to impact your life significantly when you're so rich? Why do you need to get that much richer? Why can't you share some of your earnings with your employees? have more profit sharing, have, I don't know. It just seems to me. PJ Stitchery says, aka Kathy, it could be the heat causing the phone issues. Well, it was my computer too, so it might have been. I don't know. I don't know. It might be my MiFi also. Oh, I don't touch nothing. I'm not, Amy. I'm not going to touch anything. I'm not touching nothing. Hey, PJ Stitchery. Hello, hello. Hey, Sylvie. Oh, Linda says Musk owes many workers fish. Uh, okay, I'm not getting that one. I'm going to move on. Barry says, I was lucky. I worked for myself 52 years. Barry, I'm telling you, that's one of the things that I'm talking about in my video. You know, if you're going to work really hard, why work really hard to enrich someone else? Why not work really hard to make generational wealth for yourself? And Barry says, now all I have to worry about is if we continue to get Social Security check. Yeah, well, that is a big concern, but I think we'll continue to get it at the rate it's at for a while. But I believe that people coming behind us, I think they're going to be in trouble as far as when they can collect and what percentage they'll get. I think what they're going to do is they're going to mess around with when you're eligible to get Social Security, when you can get full Social Security, and I think they may even mess around with the figures as to how much you get on Social Security relative to your earnings. I think those are some things, but I think for now people who are already collecting may be safe, but I don't know, because as I was talking about in my video, there's a city up in California. I have to look it up and see, but employees retired. Say you retired and you're getting $2,000 a month. You've been a city employee for 30 years. You retire, you get $2,000 a month. Well, the city filed bankruptcy. I think it was bankruptcy, but anyhow, they filed something. And as a result, they cut the retirees' pensions in half. Not future retirees who hadn't retired yet, but all retirees, including retirees who had already retired. I thought that was so unfair, because you retire and you plan your whole future based on getting a certain income. You may even move to a different area. You may have bought a different house. You may have done all kinds of things. And then you have half the income. Can you imagine what that would be like? I just think and the courts approved it. The courts approved it. Amy says they all talk about good game, but they never follow through to help the constituents. This is true. This is so true. Nancy 3X says, well, some buildings are zoned as commercial, so I think they would have to be redesignated as residential. That shouldn't be a problem. That should not be a problem, because I mean, if you're in control and in power, then you have the ability to do that. Especially, if it's, I don't know what a school is zoned as. I mean, a shopping center, yeah, but what would be the big deal in rezoning it as residential? You've got to have enough parking spaces, because if it's a shopping center, you got parking, so the parking is there, your access in and out is there, so I don't see where that would be too big a problem just to rezone it. But they rezone for other reasons that aren't nearly as, in my opinion, important. But what do you guys think? PG Stitchery says, sorry, but we have too much government. Well, if government doesn't do something, okay, well, let me ask you this, PJ, what would you suggest? Because we have literally millions of homeless people in this country, and we have millions more who are at risk for becoming homeless, including children, including seniors. including veterans. So what do you suggest? Because many of those individuals are not in a position where they're going to be able to change their circumstances without some assistance. So if government doesn't do it, churches are not doing it. I mean, churches are not doing it. Nonprofits are trying to do it, but a lot of nonprofits have had their funding cut. So, what would you suggest, PJ? I'm open to suggestions. I'm interested in hearing opinions, and I'm interested in hearing ideas on how this can be solved. Because other than government getting involved, I don't see a solution. But maybe you're smarter than me. You have solutions that I haven't thought of. Um, Stay tuned says Social Security is slated to run out in 3034. If they start making people earning over $175,000 or whatever that figure was per year that had their Social Security contributions capped, if they make them start contributing their share just like percentages everyone else pays in, that will alleviate most of, if not all of the problem from what I've read. Now, if I'm mistaken, please someone, correct me. But what that seems like such an easy fix. And why and it's not unfair, it's pretty fair. But anyhow, Graham says apparently Elon is slated to be the world's first trillionaire. Good for him. But at what cost to everyone else? Yeah. Like a trillion dollars. How is that going to change your life? That's what I'm just curious. How would going from a multi-billionaire to a trillionaire, how does that change your life? You know, other than maybe it buys you more political influence or, more power. Well, I don't think becoming a trillionaire, I don't think having a trillion versus 450 million gives you that much more power. If you've got 450 billion, rather, not million, if you've got 450 billion, you're going to have a lot of power. I mean, it just goes without saying, power and influence. Martin says, I watched a true YouTube movie called No Vacancy. A church in Florida bought a motel and made it homeless apartments. There are some churches that are doing that. There are, but in my opinion, not nearly enough. I mean, what was that mega church in Texas? I forget the name of the pastor. Now, this is what I heard. I haven't verified it, but I heard when they had flooding in Houston area that he closed off, locked off the parking lot, locked off that whole area, and refused or didn't open up the church to people as a shelter. Now, that's what I heard. I don't know. Maybe someone on here can correct me if I'm mistaken. I don't know if it's a fact, but that's what was being reported allegedly. What kind of church is that? What is your mission statement if that's what you do when people are in crisis, if that's what you do? I'm just asking. Some churches, I know the church I interviewed the guys down in El Cajon, they took part of their parking lot and built little tiny tiny houses on it for single moms who were homeless or at risk to be homeless. So there are some churches, but this was a tiny small church that had a very small budget, small congregation, but yet they did that. What I have seen often is people with the least give the most relative to their income. That's just what I've seen often to be the case. Nana She 3X says, I think the amount of Social Security benefits that people can receive will be reduced. I think so too on new people coming in. I agree. I think that's probably going to happen. But only time will tell. Hey, Jojo. Hello, hello. Hey, Don. Says, I like ramen, just not every day. I like ramen, rather, just not every day. Yeah, I like ramen too, but I don't like anything every day. Although I might like your fried cabbage every day, Donald. He made some jammin' fried cabbage when we were there. And I had another head, and Jessica said, you've got to make some fried cabbage. Although I could tell when she ate it. I said, how is it? She goes, it's okay. So she didn't like it nearly as well as she liked Uncle Donald's. Oh my goodness. Miss Net says, stay tuned. Unfortunately, I heard sooner than that. Oh my goodness. Wow. Rose Pale says, perhaps if Social Security was only used for us. Well, you have to there's a lot of rumors that Social Security is you meaning us being seniors, because it is really only used for citizens, but I don't want to get into all that because I'm not an expert on that, and I don't like to get into making statements that I could be mistaken about. I'd like to get an expert on Social Security on here on one of these lives so we can really ask and really get some real skinny, and you guys could ask some questions and we can get something from an expert, which I'm not. Hey, Sylvie says private equity and also the Airbnb industry have made it problematic housing situation worse, in my opinion. You're probably right, Sylvie, as far as private equity buying up. Well, these corporations that are buying up all of these homes, that has caused problems. And yeah, Airbnb in a lot of places, they're limiting. First of all, in a lot of places, they're limiting now that you can't rent out a unit for less than 30 days. So that's cutting out a lot of Airbnb. But yeah, you have some places, I forget what city, they were saying that at least half of the residences in some tourist area, half of the residences there were Airbnb. So yeah, that meant that a lot of the local population couldn't afford housing because it was converted to Airbnb. So I have to agree with you, Sylvia. You make a good point there. Um, Amy says, Nancy, they can do it because when they want to do things that benefit them, they can manage to do it without any problems. Yeah, you're right. They can change the zoning. When they want to do things that benefit the wealthy or benefit those in power, they're able to do it instantly almost. So zoning, changing something from a commercial to a residential should not be a challenge. Or residential to commercial, making it into maybe a land into a RV park or into, something like that. It should not be a problem. And they should be more willing to turn land into RV parks now, low cost RV parks, since all of these rules are coming up that all the people that are living in vehicles are going to have problems finding parking space even worse than before. It's a perfect storm. All these people getting kicked off of Section 8, all these people who will no longer be able to go on to Section 8, plus a lot of people having to move into vehicles because of the cost of rents. And now they're making it so much harder for parking. They need to be quickly changing some of these zoning laws, allowing certain areas to be made into RV parks, especially for me, since I want a tiny house community. I'm hoping they do. 63 Clock says it should be a crime that pharmaceutical companies can charge as much for medications. Heck, I think it's immoral to have a healthcare system for profit system. When you've got a shot or a shot that can cost $1,000 for one shot or $10,000 a month for a medication, that is crazy. I think it's immoral too, 63 Clocks. I really do. Stay tuned, says Graham. Let's write Elon to donate all the money needed. Yeah, yeah. He doesn't seem to be a person who, I don't know the man, but he doesn't appear to me to be a person who is that concerned about um, people living in poverty. I don't get the impression that he's a very compassionate person. Let me just say that. I don't get that impression. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't get that impression. Nancy 3X says, they can make it happen. Agreed. Yeah, they absolutely can. Linda Wilson says, a healthy diet would be very expensive. Volcano Green Law. Yeah, a healthy diet is eating organic, eating fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. In fact, there are some areas that, in more impoverished areas, that actually are food deserts. They have no grocery stores. All they may have is a Dollar General or a Dollar Tree, where all you're going to be able to buy is processed foods. So yeah, it is expensive to, going to a Whole Foods or Trader Joe's is not as expensive, but Whole Foods is, I find them pretty expensive. And a lot of these organic places, although sometimes the farmers markets have decent prices, but I mean, people can't always get out to those. Transportation can be an issue. One of the holies says there is no middle class anymore. It's very small. It is shrunk and shrunk and shrunk and shrunk. The problem that I find is you've got people who are making too much to get help, but not enough to take care of their basic needs. That's a that's a dilemma that so many people are in, where I know people who bring in significantly less than 2000, 1500, significantly less than that per month, but don't qualify for food stamps. And in some areas, they have not changed the the guidelines, and so they have guidelines that were set many years ago and really are not accurate or reflective of what's going on today. But 63 Clock says the poor are expanding and now it's illegal to be homeless. Make it make sense. I can't make it make sense, 63 Clocks, because it doesn't. I can't make it make sense. It doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. Sorry, that's Cuddles back there. You hear him, you heard him snoring. Well, I don't want to be inelegant, but he snores and he passes gas. And when he passes gas, oops, uh-oh, my my phone is my phone is starting to die. So I am going to probably have to end this um live. But Lisa said it's sad to say that the older you get, we are not considered for jobs due to our age. We have to do non-traditional work to survive. Yes, Lisa, that's true. And we're going to have to start thinking out of the box, because once you get over a certain age discrimination in jobs exists. And anyone who says it doesn't has not really been out there looking after a certain age. I know many, many, many people who have mad skills. I mean, unbelievable skills in their area of expertise. And they'd rather hire someone younger, because unless you have some skill that no one else has, they'd rather hire someone younger out of college or what have you at a fraction of the cost and not have to pay. So, um, yeah, it's very, once you get laid off from a job, and they're doing it just before people are ready to retire. That is, to me, that is just low down dirty to me. Let a person get almost to retirement and then lay them off. That's just low down dirty. But and then to try and go back out and find another job, it is hard. I mean, really hard. Like I said, unless you have a skill that absolutely no one else has. But if you had that, they wouldn't have laid you off. Martin says, we watched a YouTube movie called The Vacancy. Yeah, I saw that. You had said that, Martin. Right. Violets and Roses said, according to things I read, this is not the only country with homeless problems. I have been reduced to renting a room at age 76. California rent is so high. It is high. And it's high. And it's getting high, though, all over the country, at least in major cities. And yes, it it is not just, I've seen some things about Great Britain. I've seen things about Germany. I've seen things about many other countries which are considered first world or whatever you want to call them. Um, And yeah, they're having problems everywhere with the cost of housing. Linda says greed can never be satisfied. That is so true. That you never spoke a truer word, Linda. That is so true. Greed, it has no bounds. It has no ends, no end and no bounds. And in that is that's the problem. That is the problem. Brenda says, I don't understand why people compete to be the richest person in the graveyard. I don't know. I don't know, Brenda. I don't know. I mean, at some point, wouldn't you think enough is enough? Miss Net says, Marta, I need to find that movie on YouTube and watch it. It's called No Vacancy, Miss Net. She said it's called No Vacancy. I would be interested in seeing it too. Um, Jackie says, no income at all since January 2025. Wow. Wow. That has got to be tough, Jackie. Oh my goodness. Nancy 3X says, I know this will sound odd, but I've always wondered why uber wealthy people have such bad haircuts. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know. That's funny. Outdoor Dash Travel says, workforce reduced at 56 and cannot get a normal job in my entry. Or you were workforce reduced. Yeah, at 56, yeah. Here's the thing. At 56, how many decades of experience do you have? And from what I have seen, older workers aren't out partying all night, aren't out with their friends, aren't calling in sick, aren't having girlfriend, boyfriend problems. Not, they come to work on time and want to work and are loyal and hardworking. Why do these employers not get that? I don't know. Nora says most of the people that are incredibly rich don't even care about the numbers anymore. It's their egos. I think you raise a good point, Nora. I think that's an excellent point that you raise. Um, Amy says, I think it's a mind thing. They feel the more they have, the higher their status in society is, the more power they have. That could be it too, Amy. It really could. Um, IKR, great point, Brenda. I don't know what IKR. I'm not good with initials, but great point, Brenda. According to 63 clocks, and one of the holy says, I totally agree with you, Nora, about the egos. Yeah, Jackie, that has got to be. I don't know how you're making it unless you really were really good about putting away savings. Vaughn said, I just ordered two pizzas, $8 each, and the total came to $27 after delivery charges. At least this will be about 8 meals for me. Sheesh. I'll tell you something. I only ordered pizza when when they had no delivery charge. I've never ordered and I haven't ordered pizza in years. I just go down the street and pick it up. But I don't I've never ordered from Uber Eats, Dash, what is it? Dash, I don't know what it's called, Dash something. Um, I've never ordered from any of those programs because I went to look once to order and it was going to be something like $15 or $18, something crazy delivery fee. And I was like, oh, forget that. I'll get my little butt in the car and go down the street and get it. But yeah, the last time I ordered pizza has been many, many moons ago because they now charge a delivery fee, even the pizza place. So I don't, I don't order it. I just go over there and pick it up. I mean, I don't order delivery. I order it on the phone and then I go pick it up. And then too, when I go, I always try and get them to give me extra sauce and extra stuff and put extra stuff on it. And I can't really do that on the phone. Oh, you guys know how cheap I am. Hey, the Sewing Success channel says no more middle class, only poor and super rich. That's true. That is true. And I feel so sorry for these parents trying to get their kids through college because they're they don't have the money to pay for the tuition, but they earn too much money to qualify for different grants and programs. It's a tough place to be in. PJ Stitchery says the rich do share their money via donations. I'm not rich, but I can't begrudge the rich. I know I didn't manage my money like I could have. I don't begrudge folks who are rich. What I begrudge is people who gain their wealth at the to the harm of others, people who gain their wealth and are so greedy they're about making money, but they don't want to pay a living wage to their employees. Those are the only wealthy people who I begrudge. And I wouldn't even say begrudge, but I have no respect for. You know, if you're going to make money off the backs of others, at least pay them enough that they can have a decent living, that they can afford, pay them a livable wage. That's all I would ask. And as far as me saying what more can you get from living, if you have 450 billion versus a trillion, I'm not begrudging that person that. I'm just asking the question. I mean, what does it actually benefit you? Because I don't see where you're more powerful at a trillion than 450 billion. I don't see whether your lifestyle would improve. That's all. That's the only question I have. Is like, why? I would think at some point when you're so super super rich, you've made so much money that you would turn your attention and say, you know what? Now I'm going to go out and I'm going to try and solve some. And I don't mean just problems with technology. I'm saying I'm going to go out and I'm going to try and help solve some social problems, areas where they don't have clean water. We have areas in Alabama and areas in this country. Can anyone remember Flint, where people don't have clean drinking water? That's what I would want to do. If I had billions and billions and billions, almost a trillion, I would say, okay, I would set down a list of challenges that this country has, and I would one by one see what I could do to at least make a dent. But that's just me, you know. Even if I have $450 billion and I give away 100 billion, I'm still going to be very, very rich. And just think of how many people I could help if I actually gave away 100 billion. That's all I'm saying. But to each their own. Miss Net says there is the link. Oh, thank you, Miss Net. Oh, Martina is giving the link to Miss Net for the movie. Uh, one of the holies says exactly SS channel. Don says not when they can collect, more likely if they can collect anything. Stay tuned says I can't pay myself what I'm worth. None of us can. Stay tuned. I don't think any of us can. PJ Stitchery says there's a lot of those that are poor are because they think they should be handed everything and not work at all. There are some people like that. I agree. There are some people who feel like everyone else owes them a living and that they're poor and so they shouldn't have to do anything. I agree. And I agree that there are people like that, but I don't agree with that mindset. I believe if you are healthy, you are able mentally, if you are not mentally ill, where you would be a danger to someone else or yourself, if you're healthy, if you can work, even if you can't maybe do heavy lifting or something else, you can sit at a desk and type in or whatever. I believe if you're capable of working that and helping to support yourself, you should. And your family. The Bible says you're worse than an infidel if you don't take care of your family and your kids. So, and I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. But I think at a certain age, I don't think because an 80-year-old is healthy, they should be forced to work. I think there should be some age cutoff. That's just me. You've worked your entire life. At some point, I think you deserve to take a break. But, we all have our different views on things. And Nana She 3X says, that happened to my parents, but decades ago they lost their pension too. I am so sorry to hear that. That has got to be the most devastating, heartbreaking thing. You've done everything right. You've worked a job, you've paid into a pension, you've worked for decades, and then to have it pulled up. Look at the people at Enron. Remember that story, Enron, how that turned out? Oh my gosh, that was a terrible situation. 63 Clock says, it really ticks me off when we have all paid into Social Security all these years. At a minimum, we should be given our contribution back with 40 years of interest. Now, that's something to think about. Can you imagine the compounded interest on that? What that would be at a good rate? Interesting point. Interesting point, 63 Clocks. All right. Amy says, exactly, Carol. You base your life on what you're supposed to have to live off. Yeah, and then your retirement, your pension is cut in half. I mean, it's just, I just can't imagine that's enough to make a person lose their minds, you know? Yeah, Linda, illness is a game changer. Illness, it's not only a game changer financially, it can wipe a person out, but it's a game changer in that it can change your ability to be able to work, you know? Vaughn says the rich people who have no cares are the ones making decisions for the poor people. That doesn't work for me. Yeah, people, here's what I wish. I wish everyone who's in a position of power making decisions for people who are poor, I wish they would all for 6 months have to live within the means and the type of life that they have relegated these folks to. For 6 months, I think most of them would go back. You know what? They would lose their frigging minds. Because, but would it, if they knew at the end of 6 months they could go back, would it make them more compassionate? I don't know. I don't know. But it certainly would make me feel good if they could, just for 6 months, realize this is what you're telling people to live off. Let's have you live off it for 6 months and see how it works. But Sharon says Dr. Ed Weir ran the third busiest. Yeah, I have been watching him off and on for a while. He says everyone on Social Security will get a 23% benefit cut in the next 6 to 7 years. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but you know what? We'll find out. If we're still here, we'll find. They say you can tell whether someone's word or about predictions are true. Just wait and see if they come true or not. All right, well, guys and gals, and yeah, he does have a YouTube channel, Sharon. PJ says the cuts of government, so cut the cost of government so we all have money to help those that need help, not those that are sitting on their bottoms waiting for a handout. Well, how, I don't know. People a lot smarter than me have not been able to figure how to do this right. So I guess there has to be some kind of evaluation where you see, is a person fit and healthy? And the only other problem though is, PJ, is there have to be enough jobs for the people who are capable of working. And that's kind of a problem because I know many, many people who have been looking for jobs diligently and are having a challenge finding jobs because a lot of companies are cutting back. But yeah, something needs to change, that's for sure. The sewing channel says also broke workers implemented the rules to be poor. Well, you know, this is one thing I think a while back, and this ticks me off because people before my tenure at the county decided not to pay into Social Security. To me, that's the craziest thing ever. But they didn't want to pay into it, is my understanding. I don't understand that, but that was their decision. And, a lot of times people make short-term decisions, or they make decisions for the here and now that are going to have devastating impact on them downstream in the future. You have a lot of very short-sighted people who do things for $1 or $2 now, or to save a couple dollars, and it devastates them later on. But some folks just have to learn the hard way. Anyhow, Pamela says Social Security only goes back so many years for your qualifying income. If they delay the maximum retirement age, then it automatically limits your income. If as you age, you make less. It's going to be interesting to see, but I do see changes coming. I can't predict what those changes are going to be, but I see changes coming, and anyone now going forward who is counting strictly on Social Security is going to be in a challenging position. You've got to have a side gig. You've got to have some other thing going. You have to have multiple streams of income, and they don't have to be, again, big streams, but multiple streams of income. And I'd say monetize almost everything you do, except for your charity work, of course. But if you can monetize things, if you have a skill, monetize it. But, that's what I'm thinking at this point. All right. I am going to, Joel Osteen, that's who it was. That's who that church was in Texas, Kathleen. Yeah, Joel Osteen. Wow. Yep. 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 Uh, what's brown and sticky? Graham says a stick. On that note, we're going to end our live for today. But go over and check out the video. I've got some tours hopefully coming up next week, and a horror story about what happened to this son and dad. And it shows just how screwed up the system is, that sometimes it protects the predators and perpetrators rather than the victims. But that stuff is coming up next week. Love each and every one of you. And my schedule, I want to tell you about my schedule. My schedule from starting September 1st, knock on wood, my plan is to do a video every Thursday, every Saturday, release it at 12 noon. And I'm going to try to do Monday videos at 12 noon also, but I may not always do that. But I'm going to stick to Thursday and Saturday, 12 noon, like clockwork. Going to have videos coming out unless I mess up something, and don't get it up because of a technical error. You know me and technical stuff. But that's my schedule. Thursday, Saturday, 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, and hopefully many, if not most Mondays, but definitely Thursday and Saturdays starting in September. All right. You heard it here first. Love each and every one of you. May your journeys be filled with joy and blessings in abundance. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.